Amazing, guys. So welcome to the Global Beans Processing and Marketing Business. My name is Dan Arubasa, and I'm going to be your facilitator all throughout this entire journey together. Perhaps this is your first class you're having with me. I am the CEO of Skill House Consulting and also the designer of what we now call the 555 Word Creation System. Right? We serve two set of people. We have those we call the sponsor and the operators. I will explain this just briefly, and as we go deeper into this course, you begin to understand why the sponsor and the operator are important to every program and every business that we talk about. First, let's talk about the sponsors. Now, sponsors are people who have the resources, they have the connection, or perhaps not the connection, but they have the resources, they have the money, they have the capital to start any business that they want to start, but they don't have the time to manage or to run these businesses. So their job is to be able to provide funding, right, to fund those that we call operators, right? Now, operators are people who have the time to manage, to run the businesses that sponsors are going to be investing in. So why sponsors have the money and the resources and the capital to start these businesses, but they don't have the time? The operators have the time and the energy and the framework, of course, exposed to training to be able to run the businesses, even though they don't have the capital. So as Skill House Consulting, what we do through the 555 Word Creation project is to create a platform where sponsors, those that have the capital, can fund those that have the time to manage the businesses. So we come in between, making sure the interests of sponsors are taken care of and the interests of operators are taken care of. To bring it home, sponsors are employers of labor, while operators are employees who work on behalf of their employers, who don't have the time to even manage the entire business. Where we come in is to help making sure that both parts are fully represented and everyone is going home smiling at the end of maybe 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, as the case may be. So once again, welcome to the Global Beans Processing and Marketing Business. In this course, right, we're going to be talking about how you as an operator or a sponsor can tap into the economic potentials that exist in beans consumption across the entire globe, particularly Africa and Nigeria in particular. Now, it is funny and interesting at the same time that there is most likely no home across Africa, right, where beans consumption doesn't happen at least 3 times in a week. Across all the cities, across Nigeria and across Africa, you will see people who are cooking beans, right, either for direct sales, people who are processing beans into more and more on daily sales, those who are processing beans into akara for daily consumption. The opportunity that exists within the beans farming, processing and marketing industry is much. In this course, my job is to show you how you can profit from the system, whether you are an employer of labor, that is a sponsor, or you are an operator. And over the next 10 modules to 9 modules we're going to be looking at, we're going to be picking each of the classes and breaking it down to the point where you are able to assimilate the knowledge and apply the result and apply the content of the course, where you can get adequate and expected results at the end of each module and the entire course. Now, I will explain 2 things in this module 1, which we're going to be calling understanding the business of beans processing and marketing, the basics. The beginner's guide. This is basically the beginner's guide towards the beans processing and marketing business. Now, to make it much more fundamental, right, to make it more basic for everyone to understand and for everyone to go through as you go through this course, The title of the course has been mentioned to be the Global Beans Processing and Marketing Business, with a subtitle, How You Can Build a 5,000 Naira Monthly Income Business, Building Your Social Capital and Creating Employment Opportunity for Graduate African Youth Anywhere Across Africa. I will take that again. The course has been titled, pay attention to what I'm saying, right? Has been titled the Global Beans Processing and Marketing Business, with a subtitle, which means the course encompasses, right, how you can actually build a $5,000 monthly income business, right, in 30 to 90 days, doing two things. One, building your social capital and creating employment opportunities for graduate African youth anywhere across the entire continent. Now, before we go any further, I will say this. Now, when it comes to building every business, right, it will take time and it will take process. And at the most basic level, we design our system to be able to start giving you results within the first 3 months. That is 30 to 90 days, right? You start operation, you start gaining, sell your first product, put structures in place. Then for the next 3 months, right, you start income start coming in immediately, and you start watching the entire system set up itself and balance itself. So the point is, this is not a get-rich scheme. It is a business that you are building. And I want to also explain this. It is not something that requires you to give us $1 million, that's my team and I, to build a business on your behalf. No, it is a system that requires both you and the operator to function as a team. Our job will be to manage the system, making sure that all parties are covered. Now, two things that we explain in this module. One is building your social capital and creating employment opportunities for graduate African youth anywhere across Africa. Doing these two things and being able to build a business at the same time, that we're able to make at least $5,000 on a monthly basis within 30 to 90 days. So let me explain the first thing I mentioned, building your social capital. Now, beans, as you know, is not grown in large volume in every part of Africa. If I use Nigeria for instance, right, there are parts of Nigeria that are predominantly known for beans farming, which means that for other parts of the entire nation of Nigeria, right, those who have beans in the south will have to depend on those who farm beans in the north for them to access beans for consumption. In module 2, we will start looking at the value chain. That's why we will cover everything, that all the business model, all the things that through which you can make, about 8 of them, through which you can make money from beans as a staple food, or as a product that is consumed every day in our homes, right? So there are those who are sponsors, provided the capital, and there are those who are operator, who are going to be managing this business or running this business on behalf of sponsor. Now, explaining the place of social capital development or strengthening your social capital while building a $5,000 monthly income business in 30 to 90 days, while at the same time creating employment opportunity for graduate African youth anywhere across the continent. Now, some people farm in the north, the beans. Every other part of Nigeria will depend on it. This course will show you how, as an individual who doesn't have the time as a sponsor, how you can actually employ one person, either as an individual or a team of 5 people coming together. Let's say, for instance, in Nigeria, one person from the north, one person from let's say Kaduna, for instance, somebody from Lagos, second partner, somebody from Warri, that is Delta State, third partner, somebody from Enugu, fourth partner, and somebody from Osun State or Edo State, or that's too close, or let's say Enugu State, right? That is 5 partners. Being able to come together to employ one person who can make it possible in such a way that this person will be the one in charge of the daily operation of this business, even while all the sponsors, 5 of you across 5 states across Nigeria, are able to provide the funding to fund this person. Now let's assume that the beans is being purchased, right, in Kano or Kaduna, where you have a partner who is on ground, who is buying the beans, right, and to be shipping it down to every other part of Nigeria. Now the employer you're going to employ can come from anywhere across the entire nation of Africa, of Nigeria. Right, the guy in Kano would be the one that will be in charge, working in partnership with the staff, right, to know how much beans is being sold for, so that you know exactly how much, in terms of how much each bag of beans is being sold for in Kano or Kaduna. And let's assume that the first shop that you guys want to distribute, right, want to start with, is located somewhere in Delta State. So if you are buying, let's say, 5 bags or 10 bags or a full truckload of beans in partnership with other people, right, the guy in Delta State will be in charge of receiving, right, the beans and working with your trainee staff or your trainee manager, making sure that what was paid for has arrived. Then your trainee manager is going to be the one to be responsible for the distribution process of those entire beans as it's being distributed. Now the interesting thing is this: you guys can start working on either large scale selling, that's wholesale selling, or small package selling, or processing into akara, or processing into flour, or processing into more for those who are selling food on a daily basis, or for those who are producing akara, who are frying in the morning or in the evening of the day. The entire idea is to make it such a way that your partner that is in Kano or Kaduna, working with your trainee manager, who is your operator, your first operator, will make sure that what is being gotten in Kano is quality beans, right? Then it travels with them to Delta States, where it will either be processed into direct wholesales, or processed into moi, or processed into akara, and the entire process, profit-making process, right, is checked. Now, if you leverage the power of social media, for instance, with your trainee manager, who could spend the first 30 days with your partner in Kano or your partner in Kaduna, where the beans will be purchased in a popular market and shipped down to Delta States. If your first trainee manager or first staff will spend 30 days with your partner in Kano, doing what? Doing market research, doing videos, going to the market, making videos, walking around, asking questions, and making an offer across all these states that you have partners in Delta, partners in, we mentioned in those states, right? Partners in Enugu State, partner in Calabar, partner in every other place, who have put resources together to be able to sponsor the trip of your trainee manager or your operator, working with your partner that is in Kano. So when this one is making content in Kano, the entire idea is that you have people who are already on ground to receive both payment and also delivery of the goods to them, so that the fear of being scammed, right, is taken out of the entire equation. The interesting thing is that even before you launch your full brand, right, within the first 30 to 60 to 90 days, this business will already have people who are interested in buying beans, either in small quantity or in large quantities. It makes it more affordable, makes it more economical for a group that is coming together, right, to work with somebody in Delta State, work with somebody in Kano, work with somebody in Calabar, work somebody in Enugu, somebody in Bayelsa States, coming together, and this person is doing daily content for 30 days, right, walking around the farms, around the markets where the beans is being sold, and is convincing people that there are partners, phone number they can call in Enugu State to confirm operations that the beans are coming. They are meet this person physically and they can discuss with this person. It gives you your brand social visibility and content monetization. Even while you are selling beans, you can also be making money from Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok monetization. That is the first part. Now, you may not know these people you want to partner with in Lagos, in Calabar, in Delta, in Enugu, or in Calabar, or in Kano. That is our job. That's where we come in to be able to make it possible that these 5 people are working based on contracts. And as we look at each module of this course, we begin to understand how this is possible and how the entire system has been structured and been made possible. Now, it is also possible for 5 people from Delta State to come together to fund an employee or to fund an operator to manage the entire process. Of course, our training also covers that makes it possible for people from Calabar, 5 people from Calabar, to come together and provide the funding to fund this person, right? The entire journey, links up with a partner in Kano who will monitor the entire process, and they are brought down to Calabar for sales, and from there you start building. That's the first part that I would like to make you understand in this module 1 of this course. The second part is a part of creating employment opportunities for graduate African youth anywhere across the entire continent. How would they be possible? By design, right? Within the first 1 year, your beans processing and marketing business should be able to employ at least 1 graduate who's going to become your trainee manager, fully in charge of the day-to-day running of your business. And by design, within 5 years, this entire business model, the beans processing and marketing business, can employ a minimum of at least 5 graduate youths anywhere across Nigeria or anywhere in your nation who can work physically distributing your products and monitoring the sales while you are busy as a sponsor with your 9 to 5 job. Now, it is so interesting that this business can be converted into a franchise model where you have centers where you produce just quality moi, and you also supply beans direct sales. You also supplies beans flour. You also provides packages for people who don't want to go through the stress of trying to process, trying to go to carry 1 painter of beans to the market to go and grind. Everything has been prepared maybe in 12 kg or 25 kg that somebody can buy, family can buy, and it is packaged in such a way that it can be cooked that way and just opened and poured into the plate, and it is for eating. All these are covered in this entire training of the beans processing and marketing business. Now, in rounding up this module 1, right, one of the interesting things and I find fascinating about building any business is this: why it may look hard on the outside, when you have a template, when you have a team, and you have a structure, and you have a firm who's ready to work with you in partnership, it makes the job easier. It makes the entire stress process completely, almost stress-free and sweatless. So as we continue in this journey together as a team over the next 10 modules of this beans processing and marketing business, I want you to pay attention to every module and look where we're going to be positioning your business for profits and for maximum impact as it relates to building your social capital over time and creating employment opportunity for graduate African youths anywhere across the entire continent. And lastly, before I shut down, as a team of 5 people who are coming together to build this business, it makes it much more easier for shared risk and shared capital gain. What do I mean by that? If your training manager is going to start his or her journey as a salary with 50,000 monthly income, if you were running the business, if you are a sole sponsor of that business, the money will come simply from your pocket. But if you are partnering with 5 people, that is 10,000 savings, right? Coming from 5 people to pay your training manager's salary for the first 3 months, which means is that as little as 500,000 coming from 5 people coming together is already enough for you guys to start this business. So imagine if 5 people can come together to pay 200k together to start this business. That is 1 million naira. It is already enough for you guys to start this business. There is shared risk. If you were starting by yourself, let's say you would have needed $1 million to start. If the business fails and doesn't succeed, you lose 1 million naira. But if it is shared partnership, what you lose is just 200k. But it is our hope by design that this business, the way it is structured for you to start, it is something that someone can be picked from the streets as an unemployed graduate youth, can be trained for 30 days, and in the next 60 days is already on the field creating content around the business and getting visibility and getting customer base built up over time to such a way that it becomes a national business or a global business or an African based, a continental business within the next 1 year to 5 years. That is why I'm encouraging you. Don't just go through this course by yourself. I don't know where you're watching this video right now. Maybe you are watching it free on YouTube or you're watching it free on Facebook, right? Share the content of this entire course with a friend who might be interested in something like this. That brings us to the close of module 1 of the global beans processing and marketing business. In module 2, like I said, we'll be looking at the value chain of the beans processing and marketing business. Don't forget, my name is Dan Arubasa. I'm a life after school coach. I'm a quantum leap enabler. I'm a value marketingist. I'm a goals achievers expert and above. I am an SMS and a master fundraiser with over 10 years experience across board. Bye for now. See you in module 2 as we discuss the value chain of the beans processing or beans farming, processing and marketing business. Bye for now.